All right. Is there any other like random artist brand collaborations that you would like that you can think of?
Oh wow.
Wow, that's
Dang.
a tough one. No, that's one that we should have known.
You should have told me that. You should have told us
Like,
that.
I gotta think. Let's
What is an
see.
off the cuff response?
What's another collab?
Drake and Tinder.
I don't remember that. Was that a thing?
No, not that stuff that's happened. Just stuff that
Like
like
stuff you would wanna
random,
see.
something that you can think of.
Drake and Tinder.
That's kind of funny.
Drake and Tinder would be funny.
You could put like Drake music on your profile.
Damian Lillard and Spotify. I mean, and SoundCloud or something like that. I don't know. Nnamdi, you're disappointing us here, buddy.
Sorry, guys. My connection.
Yeah. You just happen to go out.
I just happened to go out for a second.
Happened to go
Let me
out.
think though. Well, no, that is a good question. I'm trying to think of what big collaborations have been to the scale of the one we're talking about today, and that is the.
Can you make up one in your mind that you think?
Oh, make up one.
Chance the Rapper and that church in Texas, that church in Dallas, that church in
No,
Houston.
stop it. Knock it off.
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen.
You know, this is kind of happening now, but
They can give Chance the Rapper a nice check, actually.
What
They
about DMX and the ASPCA?
Oh, the American Kettle Club?
Yes.
Oh, the American Kettle Club or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. You know, Snoop Dogg is only just not coming out with like a gin brand, and I always wondered why that wasn't like a big collaboration that someone did.
Ooh.
Snoop Dogg, he's only just not coming out with his gin brand, and I'm like, why was that not a thing when gin and juice was like at its peak? Like that would have.
Gin and Juice at peak in the 90s, and those weren't really like a big like those kind of collaborations. Hip hop wasn't as main.
Well, I mean, like, or you know, early 2000s when the song has been popular like for a long time. Like I'm just surprised it hasn't popped up as a collab. Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, then like obviously.
Avery, well, no, wait. What's your answer to that question?
I mean, you said it.
I like my DMX one. I think
that was a good one. Okay.
What about like Eminem has the most obvious one?
Has he ever?
That I don't think has ever happened.
It had.
No, he's rapped about it, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Eminem flavors. I don't know.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. I gotta have
Eminem flavors.
I don't know. I don't know.
Violent. They'd just be violent.
White chocolate? I don't know.
White chocolate.
I don't know.
Okay, you know, and on that note, welcome
to the White 97 Demo Podcast.
Okay, but you want to go ahead.
No, you got it. I'm
gonna
do
that. Welcome to the 97 Demo Podcast, where we give you the latest in news, music, and much more, or music news and much more. I am one of your three hosts, Nnamdi Agbandu, joined by my two wonderful compadres.
Padres.
Is that how you say the word? That's the word, right? Compadres.
Compadres. Okay.
Compadres. You know what it meant.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I did.
I'm Avery Dalal.
I'm Noah.
I'm like, did we you wanted to say your name, but you every single week never save your name on cue.
I am Noah McGee. Follow me on Twitter at Noah A. McGee _ okay.
And Avery said his name. Okay, let's just get into Charles Rundown because this is just actually this is a fun week because literally nothing has changed. Like the top five is just about still the top five. We had some new debuts by Katy Perry, who came in at number 5, Metallica at number 4. But other than that, Folklore still doing this thing at the top of the chart. Pop Smoke still kicking it at number 2, and Juice WRLD still at number 3. Any surprises, guys?
Yeah, Metallica charting in 2020. I think it's kind of fun. Pretty interesting. And the San Francisco Symphony. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, it's a collab album.
I'll listen to it.
A collab rock album. You don't really hear that. Katy Perry coming at number 5 is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. And, you know, we talked about that last week, but that's like, who would have thought? 2020, man.
This is on the chart, but Lil Baby's officially the first. Is he the first artist to have 2 million this year?
2 million sales, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we expect Taylor Swift and other artists to get there, but yeah.
I'm surprised he beat The Weeknd to it, but I think The Weeknd's right behind. Like, I'm sure The Weeknd will get the stat soon enough.
Yeah.
You guys heard of this band? Or I don't know if they're a band, duo, something, Internet Money?
What is their genre? What genre is it?
You know, I am not sure.
You know, Avery, I kind of expected you to know this.
I'm supposed to know the obscure little.
I don't know.
Avery has so much on him. He has pop. He has all the obscure alternative acts, like the
Avery does
TikTok
have too much responsibility.
They have 14 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And they have songs with Gunna, Don Toliver, Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd. Okay.
I think it's a producer. I don't know. I think it's a producer artist collab group type
Probably.
thing. But
yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah, but not really any surprises on the top 100. Top 100, yeah. So
yeah, we've been saying that for this show, and it's like, dang, like
Derussy has it.
Shocked.
I mean, not till next week. We're not going to see like Big Sean and that other artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that,
I'm just still really. We've talked about it already. I'm still really shocked that Katy Perry came in at number 5. Like that's still very surprising to me.
Lil Wayne's No Ceilings is officially on streaming services. That's
and he came in at number 18 because of it. 10 years after his release.
Yeah, one of Lil Wayne's maybe beloved.
Do y'all think that aged well?
No Ceilings?
I think it. I think the fact that it 10 years is on number 18 right now proves that.
I say no.
I
say no, but that's not bad because I think people are just really nostalgic and they love Lil Wayne, and that mixtape is beloved. Just because it doesn't sound like it came out now doesn't mean it's bad. So I still think
that's true. It is nostalgic.
Yeah, it's nostalgic for sure. I was in 6th grade when that came out.
That puts me in 4th grade?
Nah.
I'm trying to see if any of our other upcoming debuts landed on here. I think we talked about the Dua Lipa remix thing. That's at number 28.
We did.
We mentioned it with the new releases. Jaden Smith's project at number 44. King's Disease still on here at 45. That's good to see.
Disclosure.
48.
We did have them 48. Man, I wish that did better. Actually,
I do too.
I know.
That's just a song, but yeah. But,
Anyway, let's move over to the Hot 100. Equally over there, not too much happened. The top 5 is still pretty much set in place. Dynamite by BTS having its second week at number 1, which was really nice to see. So that means it wasn't just a hot shot debut that'll fall off, but actually it's staying there, staying power. WAP at number 2, Left Now Cry Later at 3, Rockstar number 4, Blinding Lights at number 5. So literally the same top 5 as we had last week. New debuts that I'm trying to find: Ice Cream by the Selena Gomez and Blackpink, another South Korean group, 13. But other than that, not really any other big debuts. Last thing I'll say before I'll hand over the mic, I talked about Tap In by Sweetie jumping into his top 40 and saying that's radio power at that point. It's at number 21 now. So rising. It's really rising, and I think
that's dope.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. It went up 10 spots. Wow.
Yeah, it's rising, really rising.
What's going to be its peak, guys? Top 15, maybe?
I think it only goes. I think it still has some ways to go. Because when it first debuted, I'm pretty sure it didn't even. I don't even remember if it cracked top 50. It didn't have a high debut.
It didn't. But it kept.
And now it's rising. So yeah, I have hopes for it.
I actually like when that happens. When something doesn't catch on, then months later, be like, oh yeah, this is actually popping. I like when that happens. That's really dope.
Are we surprised that Popstar went down? Because even though the music video is pretty viral and visible on social media, the Justin Bieber thing.
I am surprised it went down.
Well, the music video came a long time after its initial release. I think that's something behind it, and I think Grease still was Grease had at one point had a higher placement than it or something.
It did.
So
crazy, But yeah,
it bounced back.
This Calvin Harris Weekend song that I really liked was.
We talked about that.
38. And then Chris Stapleton, shout out. Gonna talk about him a little later.
He'll be coming out.
Yeah.
Number 57. I'm a fan. He was my introduction to country music, personally.
Or Chris Stapleton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
maybe we should all give country music a try. We'll see. Okay, expensive.
Oh wow, Ty Dolla $ign on his own song.
Stop it. Put some respect on Ty Dolla's name. But Expensive debuted, so there you go. That's a stat.
And that's wait, John Party. Yep. Cool.
All right, so not really too much there, but let's talk about some of the upcoming debuts we can expect on Tuesday. Detroit 2 is expected to come in at number 1 with about 100-ish K sold first week. That's really good because for
I think
a
it was like
little,
120 actually. 120, 150. 120, 150.
was it 120, 150
I
or
think so.
115, 120?
It was something like that. I don't know, but I think
It was
like
around
120,
there.
115-ish.
Yeah, which was really funny because at one point there was worries that it wasn't going to take the number one spot because of this next album titled Toast by 6ix9ine, which now turns out is not really projected to do as well as people initially thought, about 50K first week, which for someone like 6ix9ine, whose career at this point is kind of dependent on virality.
Yeah,
I think he knows it too, because if you pay attention to the internet at all this past week, he kind of showed up on every little sphere of any popular channel you can find on YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah.
So
he
did try to make himself very visible this past week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the original numbers, like when they first had predictions, was like 125, between like up there, a bit higher than Big Sean's. And like Avery said, he was going on doing a lot of interviews. Actually, he did a podcast with that one rapper, and he was going to, but he turned him down.
Which rapper? So. Wait, which rapper?
Oh, we don't say his name. We don't say his name. Do you know the guy? His name starts with J, last name B. That guy. I'm tired of saying his name, kind of. So
it is worth bringing up. I think that 6ix9ine himself, according to what I've listened to, believes that he is being blackballed and being taken away from. Like, apparently, if you go to like Apple Music to the search thing, like his name won't even show up or something like that.
Really?
Like, he thinks that like
I'm about to look at
that's not. He's said that about Spotify, and I've checked, and I don't think that's. I guess
Apple Music gives you like recommended searches or like most popular searches or something, and he feels like he should be there, and he.
But that's paid for. Like that stuff is. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the stuff these days, featured artists like today, like all the featured playlists, like that's paid placement sometimes. So
yeah, I agree.
Isn't he rocking independent right now, or?
I'm not sure, but I just thought it was worth bringing up that he believes himself. I don't know if there's validity to it or not.
Avery's not confirming this.
Yeah, I'm just saying what he says is that he feels that he is being blackballed by the music industry. So we'll see.
Yeah.
There you go. At least he got his number one. Hit different. Love this song, and I'm pretty sure when we talked about it, one of the things you guys were like,
"You didn't say you love the song, though."
No. I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure last week when we talked about it, one of the complaints I heard was, "Oh, it's too much hook. I wish she sung more." And the more I listen to it, the more it grows on me. I like it. I think SZA is one of those artists that had hard expectations because of how kind of well her debut album is done. But I enjoyed the song, you know.
I'm not one of those people that's like, I love SZA's last album too, but like I just think it was cool. I don't think it was bad. I just think it was like, oh, it's cool, because people were saying, oh my gosh, the God is back. The song's
people
incredible.
are just happy to have her back.
Yeah, I'm just happy to have her back. I'm not saying the song sucks. It probably is gonna fit well within the album. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. That's kind of the thing with TD too. Like the artists release something. Like remember when Kendrick released like King Kunta, people were like, oh, that's not what I expected. And then it gets on the album, you're like, oh, it works. So like it's probably gonna work on the album.
And I remember I liked King Kunta when it came out too.
No, of course, but I'm saying people are like, oh, I didn't. Oh, and like and people are like, oh, I didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
And then it worked well on the album, so I'm expecting it to work.
The live version on the album.
Oh, that one's fire too. But
so good.
Yeah.
On the topic of R&B, really looking forward to seeing what this Ari Lennox song does, because I really liked it.
So good. It is.
That's the song.
Does Ari Lennox have charting like type songs? Because the last
think
some of her songs have charted before. I think some of the singles from her last album.
The song with J. Cole, and I'm thinking
BMO. Was that what the song was called? That charted.
That sounds great.
I think those charts will chart. But I do hope this charts. I'm just wondering if it is, but I just hope it charts.
Yeah.
I expect Phineas and Jeezy's chart too, but yeah.
I hope Phineas charts. I hope he does, because that's a good song as well.
Yeah.
But looking at some of the new music that came out, New Music Friday, of course, we got new releases from NBA YoungBoy, Conway the Machine, B.O.B. and Davido. Davido, who to me, I know it was just because his name was under Davido, to be honest. My eyes just went to the area. But he did put something out.
Wait, B.O.B. released him?
Yeah.
Is he still a flat earther?
Probably. I don't know.
That's why we don't talk about B.O.B. anymore. Forgot. Okay, but did you guys listen to any of these? If so, tell me about some of the songs you really messed with.
Noah, how's this Conway album?
Why you guys expect I listen to it? I did.
Because
No, that's your beat. That's your beat.
No, that is my beat.
I want to listen to it.
Oh, I did listen to it. Actually, it feels like, because obviously they've all released like big, they've all released mini projects, but I think this is official first release on Shady. I got to check right now.
It's on Shady Records?
Yeah, him and Westside are signed to Shady Records.
Oh, awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been signed for like 2 years. Yeah, they've been signed for 2 years. But I'm not sure this is the official release, but it definitely sounds like the biggest type thing because it has like people like Dej Loaf is on there. She has a feature on there. Method Man's on there.
Freddie Gibbs is on it too, right?
Freddie Gibbs is on all that type stuff, but Freddie Gibbs.
This is crew. That's Freddie's crew.
I think it's really good. I think it's really good.
No, I definitely want to listen to it.
It's really good. It definitely has some like things that kind of seem like he's trying to not trying to be mainstream, but it seems like he has some stuff like with the Dej Loaf feature. It's like, oh, I'm kind of dipping into that, but I'm still hard.
Yeah. Avery, I know you were looking forward to this James Blake song, Godspeed, the Frank Ocean cover.
I like that too.
So he did a good job. I think he did a great job covering it. I didn't know. I thought he wrote the song. He didn't. But that is him playing piano on the original Frank Ocean song. And he also produced it. So in a sense, it's also like his baby kind of. So it was really cool when I think
he deserves more followers. James Blake needs to be way more popular.
He's so good. He also needs better PR people.
Student Forum is still one of my favorite albums of the last
Avery hates that.
years.
Avery hates that cover art for the song.
It
looks like he
did
not
good.
It is not great.
I do want to shout out this Flaming Lips album. They are in their 5th decade, I believe, as a band now.
Wow.
Their first album came back out in 1983. So they're still going. And this album, I started it earlier today. It is pretty fun. It's pretty good. It's like 70s rock-ish kind of psychedelic rock. It's pretty good. So I gotta shout out them for still putting out music 50
What's
years
crazy
later.
is when you just said 50 years ago, my head went to 1960s, and that's it's the 1980s. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, this Spillage Village song is great too. And the music video is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Some big releases I want to big up. Usher put out R&B, Bad Habits. Really enjoyed the song. I already talked about David O. He put out his track. Liked it a lot. Trippie Redd, and I'm calling him out because I really enjoyed the song, and I normally that's not typically my beat, but he put out a song with Busta Rhymes, I Got You, which is a rework of Busta Rhymes' 2001 song with Mariah Carey, and I'm a big fan. So I'll say that. Shout out
moving on. I'm joking. Did you actually like it?
I like the song a lot. Did you listen to it?
I didn't listen to it, but
you should listen to it. It's definitely like, I think, very different than some of his past stuff. But have you listened to the Busta Rhymes song?
I've heard the Busta Rhymes song. I'm wondering how
it pulls heavily from that. Like, I think that's why Busta Rhymes has to be featured on it, because it's basically
his property kind of.
Yeah, but I liked it a lot. I think it's a good song.
Yeah.
You know what? Did you not like the Spillage Village song?
I did like it.
Okay.
Wait, what you
like? I thought you were like, oh, it's all right. I thought you were like, oh, it's all right.
Oh, no. I like the song a lot. They kill
so
it.
Good.
Jid is basically like an extra. Is Spillage Village just Earth Gang and Jid, essentially?
I think so, yeah.
That's what I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you guys, before I forget, I just highlighted Keedron Bryant, who was the boy who had the viral I Just Want to Live. He performed the BET Awards. He put out a song to talk about it.
Was he in
Yeah, the vibe. I think he was like, I'm a young black man. I don't want to sing. It was all over Instagram and it went viral.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta see the video. I don't remember exactly, but
you'll remember if you look at a picture.
I'll remember it.
But he put out a song. So
yeah.
This of Monsters and Men song was pretty good too. Visitor. Gotcha. I'm a fan of theirs.
And also, this is my last one. GoldenEye and Latin Grammy, Action Bronson. Those are two. I don't know if they're singles, but they're just coming off his next album. His album is set to release September 25th. It's going to be called Only for Dolphins. It looks like it's drawn by his daughter, like it looks like a kid's drawing. But yeah, I like Action Bronson. He's nobody that like blows me out of the water, but I just like he's solid every time.
Yeah,
so.
He's got a cool voice too.
Great voice. I like his voice a lot, so. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I guess we'll look forward to seeing where some of these songs, what happens to them, where they debut. But in the meantime, let's get to some of our headlines. A lot of good stuff this week. The next Verzuz. Have you guys seen the announcement? Gladys tonight. Patti, LaBelle going to be doing their little, not even a battle. I think we even know it's been a celebration of music. First off, two iconic kind of women. Who do you guys got? Who do you think is gonna have the Verzuz win?
This is tough. This is really tough.
I know who I'm going with.
And these are people.
It's really because of my mama.
Well, you're going with Gladys Knight, aren't you?
Actually, I keep on going to say you may be surprised.
They're from Atlanta.
She's from Atlanta.
She's from Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, but this is tough. Both played in my household growing up. This is tough. I don't know who to go. Honestly, I don't even feel right picking somebody.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I honestly don't even feel right. I don't feel like putting another black woman down right now. I'm not in that mood right now.
My answer to it was really gonna be, my mom was a huge Patti LaBelle fan, but I'm from Atlanta, so I just feel like I used to hear Gladys Knight more. So I think it's just gonna be more so a celebration of their music, and I think it'll allow a lot of people in our generation probably just haven't been able to listen to their catalog. So I think it'll allow some, maybe some new fans, some new listens. Yeah,
it's good to see definitely some artists from not even farther than the 90s, going back to 60s, 70s, 80s, get on this Verzuz thing, which is good. Because all these artists are definitely in a different part of their career and their life and everything, not consistently putting out music and stuff like that. But stoked to see this happening. Verzuz over here being versatile, not just getting rappers to do this, all kinds of people doing it. So
I can't say I'm well versed enough in either of their musical catalogs to pick a winner, but I did eat in Gladys Knight's restaurant and it was very good. So.
Wait, when you went to Atlanta?
When I went to Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, chicken and waffles, yeah.
How was it?
It was good. Chicken and waffles was my favorite meal ever, so it was great.
Yeah.
They closed it down, I think. Really sad.
Yeah, they
really?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked that restaurant.
Yeah.
We're moving on
I guess
to
we'll be
next.
looking forward to that. Well, I think the next story is the Big Sean on Deep Reverence, basically saying this is veering into gossip, but there have always been rumblings of a beef between him and Kendrick, and he kind of says after Deep Reverence, Kendrick reached out and they were able to kind of in the wake of Nipsey Hussle's death settle things.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you remember, as we all do, Kendrick featured on Control by Big Sean and kind of just destroyed the whole rap game. And then
is that the source of their beef though? I don't we know though.
I think that's rumored to be the start. And then also Kendrick came out with The Heart Part 5, which was probably Part 4, which was probably about Big Sean. So
yeah,
and I guess it's kind of confirmed that they did have a beef if Sean's addressing it, saying he apologized.
Yeah, and he addressed it in the song Deep Reverence. He says, after what happened to Nipsey, I reached out to Kendrick. It wasn't even a real issue there to begin with. Lack of communication and wrong information from people fueled by their ego is like mixing flames with diesel. So, some insight there.
Big Sean's getting better, guys.
What that could have been.
Yes.
Well, no, one day we're gonna come back and talk about Detroit too, because it's actually really growing on me, guys. It's still too long, but it's really growing on.
Still too long.
It's a good album, though. It is a really good album.
I'm definitely more a 7 now out of 10. But
I agree. That's where I am.
What would you say you were when it first came out? This isn't.
I was 6.5, 6.5.
See, yeah, it's great.
It does get better. Especially the songs that are really good definitely stand out. But yeah.
Guard Your Heart. I'm obsessed with that song right now.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The news of the week right here. Basically.
Well, see, I'm wondering, do we want to go into Travis Scott now or let that be let's just do it because we're already talking about it. I wanted to wait, but I feel like we brought it up, so let's do it.
Let's do. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Let's just do it. We're already here.
Let's just do it.
But Travis Scott, we've been talking about this so much. He announced a McDonald's collaboration. Now, let me say, when I first saw this, I thought it was just a promotion for the quarter pounder with the
with
Travis
bacon.
Scott $6 meal, and I was like, he did a food endorsement deal. I'm not sure. For Travis Scott to do that, someone who doesn't really need to be endorsed by McDonald's. Then I realized the full magnitude of this deal, which is really a global merchandising deal in which Travis Scott is a partner and is getting to now release this merchandise across the world
and design his merchandise. Yeah,
release and design across the world, and McDonald's now gets to kind of get people walking around with the McDonald's logo. And it's sort of this mashup that that's why it makes sense. That's why it's happening.
So there was this GQ article about a month or two ago about Travis Scott. He was the cover story, right? And the author of the article spent a day or two with with Travis Scott, and Travis Scott was just kind of walking around showing him what he's been up to. So he showed him like the new song that he had off Tenet and all this stuff. There was one part in the article where the writer says something to the effect of, Travis Scott showed me a new collaboration he's working on, and it makes so much sense that I'm surprised it hasn't happened up until this moment. And I was like, oh, like, I wonder what artist he collaborated with to make this happen. And now, you know, we realized this past week, it's a McDonald's collaboration where he has like a whole meal and merch coming out.
And I must say this about Travis Scott. Even though Travis Scott, he's one of the biggest artists in the world, especially to be a rap artist, he's not the biggest, but I will say this. In terms of popular culture and getting kids to buy stuff with Travis Scott's name on it, I can't think of an artist right now, seriously, like more than Drake, more than Kendrick, more than J. Cole, more than Jay-Z. When Travis Scott has his name on something, it is going to sell like, I mean, we're getting into all kinds of stuff, but he obviously, when Travis Scott, he has a collaboration with Nike, and he started doing collaboration with Nike SB, which is like this old Nike skateboarding shoe that people cared about, but not as much. And he started wearing them. And obviously, they're like back in popular culture now. And you see Nike pushing it out because Travis Scott wears them. Like, see what he's wearing right now on the New York Times store right now. I mean, like, when Travis Scott's name is on it and it has something with him, it's gonna sell out instantly. It's kind of like Kanye's baby, but he's kind of doing better than Kanye because his stuff kind of actually looks better.
And just where his name has been on, like, you talk about someone who has real brand power. Festivals, the Nike endorsement, cereals. He had the Fortnite collab. He's about to be collabing with some jean brand, like Hot Wheels. Like he did a song for Tenet. Like it really is kind of. He's a hustler. He's really just kind of getting his name out there and raising his profile, you know, which is what a lot of big musicians do in their off time. It kind of reminds me of like a Rihanna type move, or just some of these other artists that have really kind of grown their assets in other areas beyond music. So
Travis Scott is cool. That's like the basic way to say it. Like, like somebody like Drake. I think Drake's cool, but people still think Drake's kind of like, oh, it's Drake, so people are gonna buy. Like Travis Scott's like cool. Like he dresses cool. He looks cool. He's like really like, his style's cool. The cars, he's cool. Look at the chain he has on. He has like style.
That thing's crazy.
He's just cool as heck, and he's out of his mind, and it's pretty.
And if you had any doubts about it, you could look at the McDonald's website. You have some stuff that's still for sale, but practically like everything is sold out.
Yeah, I think he's like the prime artist who's like really fed into hypebeast culture, and it's worked out so well for him that he's just like a part of it now. Like especially when Avery. Especially when like his Jordan 1s came out, and that was a big deal.
His Nike, all his Nikes have been crazy. All the Nikes have been crazy. And it's kind of crazy thinking about Travis Scott, because he was on the 2013 XXL freshman cover, and nobody really knew who he was like that. He was like, oh, he's a producer that's kind of worked with Kanye. And I was like, oh, he's a producer. And now 7 years later, he's a icon to a lot of people, literally.
He really is.
Pretty insane, so.
I mean, he created one of like the biggest memes ever when, you know, he was like, people like drop Astroworld. And every tweet is like, drop Astroworld, drop Astroworld.
Oh,
yeah.
It seems like anything he does since then has generated so much hype.
So much success, yeah.
And I absolutely look forward to seeing what he does next.
I'm interested in doing more. I'm interested in his next actual album.
I know, so am I.
Release. I'm interested in that, so.
Because I think Astro is such a good album, I thought.
Oh, wow, they made a basketball?
They made a basketball.
This man killed it.
And it sold out.
Yo, you know what I'd want to? Audio listeners can't hear this, but like they can't see this, but Nnamdi's scrolling through all the product he has on McDonald's. But they have a McDonald's rug. That actually will be fire.
Which one? Oh yeah, this one.
The blue one? Yeah, that thing is hard. Oh, they have a menu rug too. They got a lot of. That's dope.
I like the chicken nugget body pillow, honestly. I think that's really funny.
Makes so much sense. I know it seems like it would sell out.
That thing is gonna resell for like thousands of dollars. Like, it's gonna be somebody gonna be selling it for $5,000. I'm dead serious. It's gonna be ridiculous. But
yeah. On to something else that's, you know, and speaking of black people who are really good at getting their business on, or black businesses, Alicia Keys says she launched a $1 billion fund for black-owned businesses, which is really great. She says she's doing it to create an actionable way to support people and kind of, you know, this rally cry we're hearing about Black lives and black business, just black people in general, and sort of this empowerment movement that we're kind of currently seeing. So she's also performed at NFL Kickoff. NFL is going to be one of the people or one of the organizations donating to this fund, which, take how you will. But either way, $1 billion for Black-owned businesses. So love to see it.
Yeah. I don't really have any thoughts on this, but it definitely is super dope to see. Anybody, that's doing something big like this, especially Alicia Keys, well-known Black artist, it's dope. I don't know if I have any thoughts about the NFL donating. It's good, but I don't know if I have any specific thoughts on that. Take it as you will, but yeah.
Is this a part of the NFL and Jay-Z's thing? Part of that commitment they made?
I assume it's all connected.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
So yeah.
But so I don't know if it's a fund and maybe Alicia Keys just became the face of it, but either way, it says that she's involved in launching this fund, which either way, good for Black business. So there you go. And then Avery, you kind of saw this next story about Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
The only time we're going to see Fox on this podcast.
Exactly. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Publication
I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not.
But no, Chris Stapleton, I guess, gave an interview or came out publicly and said that he supports, the Black Lives Matter movement, and also feels like the America that he's lived in his whole life is a myth. And I just thought it was pretty significant for probably one of the biggest country artists working right now to come out and say that, given the demographic of people that country music tends to draw and who most of his fans probably are. I didn't dare look at the comments of any of these articles or the tweets or anything, but I just thought it was kind of, it's nothing we need to discuss, but I just thought it was kind of a significant thing that we've seen tides change over the past few months, and I think this is just another example of it. So.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now for the the topic of conversation today, you guys, 13 years ago,
13 years
an
ago,
actual masterpiece was made. Kanye West dropped Graduation, which we all love.
13 years ago, yesterday, we're recording on Saturday, September 12th. It dropped on September 11th.
I just didn't really want to reference the day, but
I know, of course, but I just wanted to give context on this.
Yeah, but either way, amazing album dropped, and if you remember, let's all try to remember what 2007 was like. When the artists that at their peak at the time was Lil Wayne, T.I., Kanye West, 50 Cent, who also famously released an album on this same day, and in this iconic battle with Kanye West to see who could sell more albums between Graduation and 50 Cent's album Curtis, and of course this ended up coming out on top and kind of marked a true shift. And have the cover right there. And kind of marked a true shift from gangster rap to mainstream rap. And so is one of the reasons why I think now Kanye West has this legacy of just constantly shifting music to the next phase. So we all love the album, decided to be the best one to dig into. So gentlemen, where should we start?
Well, that was a great intro, Nnamdi, on this incredible album, which I think is also a classic. I have no problem saying that. I did some, not extra digging, but just kind of look into the context of this album, because when this album came out in 2007, I was 10 years old. And the only thing I remember for the most part with Kanye was those shades he had. Those the
shutter shades.
That everyone started wearing at school.
Exactly. And, I have to point out, I don't know if you guys knew this, fun fact. This Graduation album is obviously the third album that has to do with his college school related theme type thing, but this is his third and final album doing this, but it was supposed to be 4 albums that were supposed to be education themes. 4 albums. This was the third one, and after some events that happened, I'm assuming they didn't really give us any specifics, but maybe considering his mom died shortly after and 808s and Heartbreaks, this might have to do with that, but this is supposed to be the third of 4 of education themed albums.
What do you think the fourth one would have been called?
That's what me and Avery were discussing. It was would this be called
master's program?
Post-grad
program.
I can't
MBA, PhD.
It was released under Def Jam. Jay-Z was the executive producer. Jay-Z was actually the CEO and president of Def Jam at this point, which is kind of crazy now that he has his own label now. But yeah. So Let's get into
Honestly, you guys, I think about this album for what it was, and even when listening to it, and it reminds me of one. Kanye West used to be known for his, in addition to his producing skills, his storytelling ability, which may be lost on some people now because of his most recent albums. But it's important to note, during this time, I sort of feel he did such a good job in kind of documenting this climb, you know. Of course, like Noah said, he did this education-themed album. Kanye didn't go to go graduate from college, but the music industry kind of became his school. And he kind of documents that from college dropout when he's, you know, just a kid who moved to New York, is trying to get signed, is trying to put out music, had a horrible accident that kind of, you know, put him back and kind of is constantly overcoming to late registration, where he really kind of is taking off and doing his thing, Touch the Sky, you know, really amazing songs. Then you have Graduation, where you can kind of hear the confidence he's rapping with, knowing that, like, I'm graduating to the next level of my career. I'm no longer this up and coming superstar. I've had 3 albums. You almost can tell when he's recording this album, he already knows that he is no longer he's not competing with some of the other rappers at this time. He's now one of the people at the top. And when he's rapping, you hear that confidence. You hear him, he's secure in that. He doesn't doubt that. It feels unwavering. He knows what he's doing. He feels inspired. And you hear that in this album, while also hearing him advance his producing skills and start to make songs that he wants to, you know, broaden his horizons from the traditional sample or soul themes you've seen in the past, and now begin incorporating rock and like dance sounds and auto-tune and alternative music, house music, which of course came from Chicago. You see him really starting to really kind of turn into a producer who's now introducing new styles and new ways to create music that was really different from what was happening at that time. So I think that's some of the things that makes this album so great, that you kind of have storytelling Kanye, secure in his ability, rapping, knows he's the man, but also this producer who's still there and like now advancing the entire genre.
Yeah, this really feels like the culmination of like all of the things that make Kanye great. Like when Kanye is firing on all cylinders, you get something like Graduation. And this really feels like the I Made It album. Exactly. Like it's implied in Graduation. You get the luxury rap, right, that he rapped about on Watch the Throne. When we decided to do this topic, Noah, this was the first one I texted about, I said this album's a hit machine. And it really is. Like pretty much every song on this album is like could have been a great single for him, and like probably was. It also has like his most popular album or most popular song on Spotify, Stronger. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
Nnamdi pointed out a lot of the things that have to background with this, but obviously this was a big deviation from the Kanye typical signature sound, because Kanye obviously was a producer, most notably for like Blueprint, right? He was like a big producer on Jay-Z's Blueprint album for soul sampling and whatnot. And obviously that became a really big part of especially college dropout and late registration. And I looked and it was like in 2006, he did a world tour where he toured with the rock band U2.
Yeah. And
it kind of showed like Kanye, from what I read, Kanye kind of was like, well, I'm a big artist. I've done great numbers. I won Album of the Year with my last 2 albums. But he said, I'm pretty sure it's a quote, he said, I want to be a stadium artist. I want to sell out arenas. And I think, and although I don't think Kanye is ever the person to do something trendy, or at the time, I don't think he was his person to set trends. He was like, I got to pick something that more people are going to resonate with. I'm a pop star now. That's kind of how he felt. So obviously Nnamdi started to point out all of his, his deviation from kind of the normal sound. Obviously he still has a lot of soul samples like Glory and I'm trying to think of other songs like that.
I Wonder.
Oh, I love that one too. That's not Stevie Wonder's sample. I used to think it was Stevie Wonder. That's not Stevie Wonder. Fun fact. But yeah, it was really a big deviation from what he did, and I think we kind of have to point this out. Nnamdi kind of pointed on it, and there's a big deal. The 50 Cent Kanye thing. Yeah. We have to discuss this because last week we discussed, I don't remember exactly, we kind of discussed how rap we were talking about, what was that shift in the rap when it started to become less about gangsta, less about killing people, which is still apparent in rap right now. But when it started becoming more poppy, whatever you want to call it, when it started becoming weird. And I pointed out how Graduation was kind of the start of this. this kind of thing of, this poppy different music taking over in the mainstream, poppy hip hop music taking over in the mainstream.
Yeah, or at least, and interesting thing is, it kind of, you think about all the artists who wouldn't have fit into the gangster rap mold, or the people who, I don't know why Kid Cudi jumps to mind first, but he came, I feel like Day and Night came out 2008, and he's an artist who I feel is one of the people who benefited from
he's a baby.
A Kanye West or the sound of, shifting away from gangster rap. You think about all the artists who were able to break through because gangster rap no longer was the norm.
Think about the biggest rap artists or the biggest rap albums you think of. You think of like early on NWA, they were big, hardcore gangsta. Even people like Jay-Z and Nas, they were talking about selling drugs, all that stuff. You think about Biggie, Tupac,
exactly,
Lil Wayne.
It was what the sound was at the time. It was where the storytelling was in the genre. And this is kind of really something that, of course, this album didn't mark the actual shift, but it sort of was the perfect like enumeration of this shift, where you see like this album sold more. Like this album is now marks, this is dominant genre, because they both did record selling sales. Like 50 Cent's album still did really good. But it was like, this is it. And I feel like when Kanye was recording this, he knew that. Like, I feel like he knew that like he was the new sound. He was gonna be it. He was gonna be the not the one, but honestly, the one. Knowing how Kanye thinks, I think he knew he's gonna be the one. And I feel like you hear that in some of these,
Yeah.
You never see like something like this. Like, I don't think you will ever see something like this, where you have a magazine cover with two artists massive artists whose albums are coming out on the same day, and it's like a big media thing of who's going to sell more. Like, I don't know if that'll ever happen again.
I don't know if it'll ever happen again. And also looking up about this, Kanye originally did not want to do this. He originally was kind of not with the idea, because his album went through a series of like release dates. Because I gotta look up the exact singles for this album, but it went through a series of release dates under Def Jam, and then it kind of was like, I think it was originally gonna come out the week after, and they changed it, and then it was like, we're gonna release it on September 11th, 2007, same day as 50 Cent, and essentially, I think they both agreed to like, hey, we're gonna do this joint kind of promotion where we're gonna go up against and see who's the top artist. And 50 Cent is quoted in saying on Rolling Stone, mine will sell and his will, let me say this, mine will sell and his will still be on the shelf. He said, this is what 50 Cent said to USA Today: it's great marketing for Kanye West, but I sell way more records than Kanye West. I generate way more interest than Kanye West. They think they can match us up, but they'll find out when the week goes by and the sales come in, there is no rivalry. And to 50 Cent's credit, at the time, the two albums previous are literally two of the biggest selling albums of the last 2 decades. I'm pretty sure Get Rich or Die Trying went diamond worldwide, which is
it was a huge album.
Plus. Massacre is one of the biggest selling first weeks in literally history. It's like a top 10 history. It's like, I think it did like 1.3 million first week. Something insane, something ridiculous. So to his credit, 50 Cent was a huge pop star, and I would guess would say he was more the cemented artist at the time. It's kind of becoming
absolutely
high. So yeah,
I feel like it'd be like 2012 Drake or 13 Drake going up against like a Jay-Z. Someone who at the time is like, and not even Jay-Z may not even be the best, but I feel like that's what pops into my head. Someone who's clearly cemented and clearly like known as the legendary better rapper and artist, going up against someone who like is clearly like becoming the sound of the new, right, and pushing the genre forward. That's really what it feels like. And this makes sense for 50 Cent though, because beefing is his ballpark, but like this is it still worked out for both of them.
You're not wrong.
This was like a heavyweight fight though, like the way it's framed, the sound bites coming out of it. It's brilliant. It is brilliant marketing.
It really is brilliant marketing. And if you click the link, Avery, that I have it's an Uproxx article. It basically looks back at that Rolling Stone article. It's done by Uproxx, and it basically like lays out how at the time, obviously 50 Cent was the bigger artist, but that Rolling Stone kind of knew what they were doing, and they kind of had an idea of who was going to be the coming storm, I guess you would say, in terms of Kanye West and his music.
Wow.
And kind of exactly. It's kind of crazy thinking about like they kind of saw this coming in terms of the shift in music, because I mean they even say it in the article, it was David versus Goliath. Obviously Kanye was a big artist still, but 50 Cent was this Goliath of an artist that sold amazing numbers in terms of record sales. And this shift in music, it kind of crazy. And we have to, and obviously we've got to say it, Kanye West obviously won. His first week numbers were 957,000, which is incredible.
458 first day.
First
like,
day.
Insane.
And I believe 50 Cent was 691,000, which is still incredible, but he almost got outshot by like 300,000, which is it's kind of crazy that we're at the time, it's like 691, it's like, dang, you did bad. But right now, that's like the best selling album of the year right now. It's 691 right now. So yeah. So
honestly, it really is. And I mean, like you said, it cemented Kanye on this rise. I mean, then he'd go on to release 808s, and he'd go on to release my favorite album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and of course all the events that happened throughout. But I feel like this is kind of the album in which like that takeoff. Look at the cover. The takeoff like was in full effect. And I think he knew that. But you guys, looking at some of the singles that existed on this album. He released Can't Tell Me Nothing, a song I love, and I feel like I used to hear it all the time. So Stronger, which went number 1, and to this day it's one of his best-selling records. Good Life, number 7, Flashing Lights and Homecoming. It also, just talking about like just how huge this album was, commercially, of course, top 1 song. Critically, at the Grammys, it picked up Best Rap Album, Best Rap Solo Performance, Best Rap Song, and Kanye that year won an extra Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a Duo for his song with Common, Southside. So I mean, it's just this album was both critically and commercially huge. Talk about the music. Tell me about some of the songs you remember that you feel stuck and sort of that you feel fit this theme of Kanye kind of taking on.
Wow. You can go ahead first, Avery.
My favorite songs for this? It's so hard. I mean, it's such amazing.
It is tough. It's really tough because this album is incredible. Honestly, the first one that I think encapsulates, I don't know the word, but kind of gets the whole thing, like encapsulates the whole experience with this thing is Good Life.
Good Life, yeah.
It's kind of just a celebration of Kanye, just like,
he kind of samples his own song on it a little bit. His
own song. It's so Kanye West too, like sampling his own song, because I'm pretty sure Kanye, even from like early interviews when he won his first Grammy, he's always felt like he was going to be like the superstar, obviously. But this is like, I'm a superstar. I'm here. Welcome to the good life. Everything's happening. It's all right now. Like that kind of encapsulates his whole thing in terms of like his popularity and whatnot.
A great T-Pain feature too.
Exactly. For me, the song that I feel really kind of thematically sums it up is the first one, Good Morning.
Woo!
And I feel that way because the song is
best
literally
intro.
the one of the verses. One of his verses is literally "Good morning on this day we become legendary." It's like what I mean when I say like he was rapping as if he knew that like I'm taking, like, this is it. Like there's no one else that can come in the way of my ascend. I'm that guy. Good morning. Look at the valedictorian. Like he's scared of the future while I hop in the DeLorean. Like, come on. Like he knew that he was the next. And I feel like that song to me really kind of sums up like what this album's about. It's not only am I graduating into the next level of rapper and artist, but also like I'm a superstar now. Like I'm the future. Like we are graduating into a new realm of music and rap, and I'm the face of that.
It's also a song where like if I'm driving in the morning, if I'm like out early in the morning driving, this is a song that's like so perfect to play while I'm driving. Like
this is so lame, but in high school, when I was like, when I would get home, when I got to school, the first thing I would play would be like Good Morning. It was like, this is so lame, but it's so like corny, but it's like, it's Good Morning. This song is perfect.
It's like, it's kind of low key too.
It's low key. What was the song? I don't think every the song in terms of like one that just like. Was Good Morning your song? Did you say that, Nnamdi, or was that Avery?
My favorite song off I don't even know. It's probably
Can't Tell Me Nothing.
I love Can't Tell Me Nothing. It's so quotable.
That's a great song.
That's another song
for the debut. It was the single for this, the lead single for this album.
Yeah.
I just remember when I went to go see him in concert, the loudest line that was shouted. I know I gotta drop it, but the loudest line that was shouted is "Act more stupidly." And like and what I do. Act 1,
Act
literally,
1 stupidly.
the whole place screamed Act 1 stupidly.
When it shambles. I gotta ask this, y'all. Now, obviously, we all agree this is like the launching pad. Literally, the album is a launching pad. Kanye Bear launching into success. But I gotta ask, how this album kind of set the stage for his next albums following this? Like, how did this set the stage for, Kanye creatively? Like, I don't say he went all the way there in terms of 808s, but it's kind of like a middle ground. Like, it's literally like the gray area between soul sampling Kanye and electric rock.
Exactly.
Pop Kanye.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. The main thing this album does is it marks the shift for Kanye into experimenting more with rock, electric, dance, pop, house. Every single album after this, literally every single one, except maybe Jesus is King. Even like every single one from him on out includes those elements.
Yeah, we did something different.
He did something different, and I feel like it sets that up. 808s is kind of, and Heartbreak is literally just a sadder album because of the events that surrounded it. Like you mentioned, Noah, his mom dying, he ended a long-term relationship. Like it was a rough time for him, and he often, I think, felt lonely. And you hear that in the music, but even with that, he's experimenting with so many different sounds, and by then is barely even touching soul samples and some of the stuff that we started to know him for when he first came out. So this album kind of did that for me. It kind of does. It really marked. If it wasn't for this, I'm not sure we're gonna get a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy down the road.
Good point. Yeah, and like the collection of sounds that was on that album, I agree. You don't get that if you don't get this. And like this was like the first time that Kanye was like, "Oh, like you guys thought I could only do this? Well, here's this, and I'm adding this to my tool belt, and I'm gonna keep adding stuff to my tool belt." You know what I mean?
love that point. I love that point because even though we love his first two albums, I guess we all agree it wasn't different. Like his first two albums, I wouldn't say like the production.
We started hearing it on Late Registration, but for the most part,
I'm saying it was dope, but I'm not saying it was like, oh my gosh, what's this new sound? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It was just like, oh, this is dope. And Late Registration is my favorite Kanye album, for the record. But it's not like it was something different at the time. I would say, I don't think it was something different.
Take, and I want to get your opinion. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like Graduation, out of all of Kanye's album, is the most similar to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Interesting.
Because I don't think it's 808s, because I think 808s is kind of different, like in its own. I don't think it sounds like how My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy does. But in terms of storytelling and rapping and sort of just incorporating new elements, I feel like I would kind of group those two albums together.
I get you. I feel that. I feel like this one is kind of the beginning part of his musicality, getting into the musicality of songs. Because obviously, on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, obviously the rapping is incredible on there. But it's the musicality of it, like songs on Runaway. And we're talking about another album, but like people were like, wow, the musicality on that song is incredible. Or songs like Power and stuff like that. And Graduation is like a good example of like the musicality on it was really being respected. Because even on Good Morning, I know it's like obviously he's rapping hard and stuff like that, but that little drum he uses at the beginning that just goes out like that, it's so apparent in terms of what he's doing on there. So yeah, it is a great album. And
so good.
I also got to say this too: the song Big Brother, where he's obviously talking about like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
This kind of just shows the relationship between those two guys in their career, because obviously Jay-Z's the one that kind of put him on because he was a producer on Blueprint, the first Blueprint, and he obviously was signed to Rockefeller and whatnot. And it kind of just shows the evolution. This is just like, obviously we know what it's like now, you know, they're kind of in this weird space. We kind of don't know where they're at, but at this time, Kanye and he said Kanye and Jay-Z were brothers basically. People saw them as rap brothers, and it's kind of,
it makes so much sense.
And it's kind of interesting to see how it evolved from to this to, you know, Watch the Throne. Oh, he was on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, then Watch the Throne, and then they had a little shift with 444. You know, they were taking shots at each other. It was kind of shows the evolution of the relationship.
We were talking a little bit more about, and maybe I'm giving the song a little more credit than it deserves, but I thought it was really poignant that there was one man making a song about the love he has for another man. Like, I thought that was such a interesting thing to do in hip hop, thing. I think it's kind of a risky thing to do in hip hop.
Especially
I mean, I think it's something. I think partially because there was an understanding of what his relationship was, and he makes it it makes it clear from the very beginning of the song. It's like, this is Jay-Z. So I feel like it's. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. And I think it is also, it sort of explains the relationship now. I feel it makes a lot of sense, you know. Kanye, sometimes when he sends off his tweet saying, I really miss Jay-Z, I really miss my big brother, whatever he said, like, it points to like a I'm hurt type of thing. I think Kanye West viewed Jay-Z as a big brother, to the point of, I will rap a song and put it on this album, literally just doing nothing else but saying like, Jay-Z's my big brother. I'm like, he's my guy. Like, you know, he's helped me, he's gotten me my idol, you know, like, that's what it was for Kanye. Similar to like a J. Cole and Nas, but not really, because they're never really, actually, I'm going to take that back, because the idol relationship is there, but as far as actual, like, having a relationship, I don't know if that's there with them, but
let Nas down.
Let Nas down.
Yeah, the good track too.
But with that, it's dedicated towards someone else, but it's more so of like this is my idol. And like, I'm thankful for them, and I think we've seen that before.
It's also it's also the end of the biggest rap artist being a gangster rapper, really. Because like, after this, like, even though Lil Wayne came out in 2008 with Carter 3, the songs that were popular were not like him talking about gangster stuff. It was like,
at all.
Lick Me Like a it was Lollipop. It was Miss Officer. It was Miss Officer. It was like those type songs, like. And then now
you had Soulja Boy, Rising Kudas. What I don't think was this not gangster rap at all.
Yeah, it wasn't gangster. And then now we have guys like Drake and J. Cole who are not gangster rap at all. And now look at the biggest artists now. Drake is not a gangster rapper. Travis Scott.
That's why, as frustrating as it is, and I know it's frustrating for all of us, like, you gotta give like, as annoying as Kanye is now. His status is cemented because of that. Doubt. Like, you can't have some of the newer artists you have now without Kanye West being someone who was I think integral in that shift.
Yeah, that's the legacy of this album, is that we get guys like Drake, like Noah was just saying, like that is the lasting legacy of this album, is what we have now, is what we're experiencing now.
What we're experiencing now is because of Kanye. Even like, no matter the music, I don't care what it is, the most popular music is not the gangster stuff. I mean, I love my Griselda, I love my all that stuff, and that stuff is apparent. It's getting more traction, but our Big Sean's, our J. Cole's, our Drake's, our Kendrick's, even though their sound might not be the same, their content is not the particular music that was popular. Like, I remember when people were calling Kendrick Lamar weird rap. I remember people saying that. Like, even though Meek Mill is a popular artist, that gangster rap is not as popular as like all these other artists that we're talking about. Our Kid Cudi's, I said Travis Scott already, but it's pretty crazy that he had this kind of influence, no matter if it was the same type sounding music. The content didn't have to be that. It makes me think about that song he had on College Dropout, Through the Wire, what he said something about like not talking about stabbing each other and killing each other. He said, I forgot the exact line or something like that. Yeah, he had a line about it, but yeah.
Yes, let me ask you this one last question, because I feel like this reads very interesting. In making this album, like Noah, you mentioned, he was on the YouTube Vertigo tour and said, I want to have more stadium bangers. In talking about who he was inspired by, he was listening to Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash to improve his storytelling, and worked with people like Chris Martin and a lot of an Australian dance group. Like, it is some really random influences, and like we said, rock, electronic, alternative, as opposed to what he was doing before. So, in terms of kind of how you prepared for this, do you think Kanye West like succeeded in creating those records that, one, deviated from the mainstream sound and are those stadium banger record hits? And do you hear the influences of like U2, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash on this album?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I was gonna say earlier, like this, obviously there's not a whole lot of rock elements on this album, but to me it has like the aura of like a rock album, where you just have this large stadium sound. YouTube made it. Yeah, YouTube and that Vertigo tour they had, I think it was
Did you go to that one too, Avery?
I have a shirt from it. My parents
went to it. Of course.
My parents went to it.
When you're joking, but it lands.
Like, it lands, exactly.
But no, they had, YouTube had some Vertigo itself, the Vertigo song is like a large, huge song, and I think
Larger than life.
Larger than life, and it plays so well in a stadium, and that's an art that you two had perfected at this point of being a band. And so it is really cool now that you mentioned it, that this is a stadium rap album that like needs to be serviced in a large arena with like multiple people, with like a few thousand of your best friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Noah, let me ask you, what are some in addition to that, what are some of the songs you feel like you feel that with? Like you feel like this is a stadium song. Like this is
wow.
I know what my pick is, but I'm interested to hear what you would say it is.
Whew. Stadium. Definitely Can't Tell Me Nothing. Like it just feels like he's up there by himself, nobody up there, and he's just going in, and he's just like, definitely Can't Tell Me Nothing. Even though Stronger is definitely the biggest song, and it feels like
I was gonna say not Stronger or like Good Life.
Well, Good Life, yeah, Good Life for sure. But see, this is the thing too. Also, it seems like Kanye, he definitely was kind of going, because you know how we talk about Drake now, how he's always trying to play for different crowds and how that could be tough for him. It's like his albums aren't good because he's trying to do something for his R&B fans, for his rap fans, for his trap fans, for the people that like sad music, people like him hype. But Kanye did that all here successfully. Like he literally was playing for his rap fans, was rapping like Good Morning and even Champion or something like that.
He had the soul samples.
The soul samples and all that. And then he's playing for his big arena fans like Stronger and Flashing Lights and stuff like that. Which is really, really, really interesting.
Have you guys heard how he played Stronger on his last tour?
Oh no! Oh,
it is one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
It was like a transition, right?
Wait, you mean the ceiling one?
Yeah, it starts off really slow.
Yeah,
and it starts building up, and it goes that pulsing beat. Like it's so good. I implore everyone to look that up.
Y'all, would we go to a Kanye tour now if he announced one?
Now?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I would.
No, but like, look at me like off mic.
I would. I tried to go to the show he had here. I tried to go to the. I didn't get a ticket.
Oh, you did? That's right.
I tried to go. I was like, guys, I'm trying to get a ticket, and I didn't get it. So I tried. I didn't get it. So.
All right, but got something in my gut telling me we're nearing or probably have passed the hour mark. So I guess final like takes. I am my laptop's about to die. So final kind of takes, opinions, thoughts on sort of the legacy of this album. Go.
If you like modern rap and what we've experienced over the past 5 years,
decade,
you have a lot to thank for Graduation. You have to thank Kanye and Graduation for that.
Specifically popular rap music too.
Right.
But, I have to say this too. This is like kind of my last thought too. I don't know, because everybody's Kanye rankings are different, but this to me is never like the best one for people. It's like always like your typical,
It's in my top 3.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's in my top 3. I don't think it'd be in my top 3, but I don't know. It's kind of, I'm not speaking because Kanye fans are really varied in terms of what's their favorite album, but I never hear this like coming up for the top spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. What's your favorite Kanye album?
Late Registration.
See, I feel like it makes sense. I feel like for people who are like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Kanye, Graduation is probably higher up. Like people who are like Late Registration Kanye, it's probably like Late Registration, College Dropout.
No, my favorite, it's my ranking is Late Registration, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, College Dropout, then Graduation, then 808s, and then the rest of those albums. Some
and then, the other ones.
Not other ones, but yeah. What about you, Nnamdi? What's your final thoughts?
The album marked a huge shift in a way that I don't think any artist in our modern day that I can see has done, at least as definitively as Kanye West did.
I agree.
He was the only one with the sound at the time. He was dominating with the sound at the time, and there you can look and see what the influence has led to as of today. So, as frustrating as an artist as he may be, the complex character of Kanye West will always kind of be valued because he contributed to that. He helped define and shape a genre into what it is now. And not many people can say they do that. Even some of rap greats, even some of the best rappers we know.
Even
not
Jay-Z.
I don't think
Jay-Z can say that.
I don't know.
I don't know if Jay-Z can say that.
That was Noah.
No, I'm saying
but
this.
that's real. No, that's
Jay-Z's
real.
one of the GOATs, but I don't know if Jay-Z made a shift. I mean, obviously Jay-Z is an incredible rapper, but I don't know if Jay-Z was like the representation of a shift in music. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
exactly.
So. He was popular. Yeah,
there's not many artists that can claim that.
That's not
not many
can.
Yeah. I really can't think of that. Like, I don't know if I could name 3 who
it's not
see when they push the genre. I know who like when they push the genre somewhere else. So
yeah, for sure.
I guess for me, like Kanye West will always kind of be Kanye West for that.
And I also have to say this. This is also why I still get frustrated with current Kanye, because no matter people say like he's a producer, you don't have to have the lyrics, but it makes me mad because he literally has albums where he has
had both,
where he had
and
great
I feel
lyrics.
like
so that's what makes me mad now when people say, well, the production's amazing on my Life of Pablo. I was like, yeah, but the lyrics and
and he's had many albums.
Yeah, it's like I need both. I don't care. I need both because that's what.
But like when we say this marked the shift for Kanye, this also marked the shift where like production started being valued more than storytelling. Because I think after this, as much as I love My Beautiful Productions of Fantasy, I can find you some bars that are like, Kanye, what? Like I can find you some.
Oh, he has some, but they're so good though. They're bad, but they're good.
Okay, but my laptop's at 5%, so here we go. What are project of the week? Noah, I always want you to start. Oh, we know this one. The Versace
we know this
tape.
one. Versace tape. I'm pretty sure I had this like maybe 3 weeks ago when it first came out, something like that. But I just been listening to it again. Boldy James, his other album, The Price of Tea in China. I'm pretty sure it moves into my number 2 of the top of the year. It's my number 2. It bumped out West Side Gun for number 2. So West Side Gun, Pray for Paris is number 3, and Price of Tea in China is number 2. But yes, Boldy James, the Versace tape, completely produced by Jay Versace, that Instagram guy. Yeah, him. I've been listening to that a lot while I'm in the gym. So yeah, Boldy James, Versace tape, 10 songs. Check it out.
Avery, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Avery.
You go ahead. Should I go?
Avery. Go Avery.
Okay. Mine, I was like listening to a lot of rock music this past week. So No Doubt is a band from the 90s. They're a ska band.
Gwen Stefani. We know them.
Gwen Stefani. Yeah, so it's Gwen Stefani's group. This is just a collection of all their singles, and they're all great. I don't think it's for everyone, but I love it. And a lot of their songs are like big parts of like my childhood. So it's a nostalgic album for me to listen to.
If you want to know about our childhood, listen to the episode from 2 weeks ago where we talked about our music influences.
What did we talk about last week? Was that last week?
No, last week we talked about.
What
we talked about last week.
Summer Standouts. Summer
Standouts. That's right.
Okay. And my laptop's about to die, so I'll make this quick. My project of the week is Jaden Smith's Cool Tape Volume 3. We talked about it when it first came out, but so much music, so I don't always get to listen to it.
It's good.
You guys, I wish when we talked about the summer album, I wish I brought this up because it's literally, it feels like summer. Like when I say summer album, sometimes
I brought up a song.
Yeah, when we say summer album, it's not always like the big dominating release. It just feels like summer, And this felt that way. So I had heard the Falling song with Justin Bieber, which I said like I did enjoy.
Okay, that sounds like a Christmas song to me.
It really does. No, well, it does, but like also if I close my eyes, I can imagine like rainbows and like greenery. So
that's fair. Rainbows is like the perfect way to describe this album. It's so like bubbly and fun.
This is what it is, and it's like I like that it feels very California beach, which I guess is what Jaden Smith kind of
I like how he has Rory on here too from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Rory.
Yeah, so Rory's on here, a couple features on here. I think he has a Willow song on here. No.
Maybe I don't see her featured on there, but she might be credited. She might be credited.
I don't know. I feel like, but either way, great album. Encourage you all to listen.
Yes, 97 Demo Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Follow at the 97 Demo. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, YouTube. Follow Nnamdi on Twitter at Namagwan. Follow Avery Dalal at Avery Dalal. Follow Noah McGee at Noah A McGee _ Our YouTube watchers can see this, but most of our audio listeners, so follow us on Twitter, please. We'd like to follow us. Or if it's the same people, just keep listening. Yeah.
Share us to your fam. Like, give us a listen. And tweet us some music suggestions because we're always down to listen. Be on the lookout for the 97 Demo playlist, which we don't talk about, but we call them our 97 Demos. We release them every Monday. And they have music that we've talked about on this playlist. Basically, the episode curated into one playlist. So give that a listen. A lot of great music. And yeah, that's on Spotify and Apple Music. But gents, any other thoughts? Anything else you would like to share? then that is it. And you guys, we will see y'all next week, where I'm sure we'll have something great to talk about. Mask up, exactly. Alrighty.
Bye.